The screen jolts to life with grainy security footage. A 6-year-old boy in a red baseball cap rides a bike down a quiet suburban street, the golden glow of a Tennessee sunset behind him. Laughter echoes faintly, then cuts to silence as the bike tips over. Abandoned, a chilling voiceover begins. On August 12, 2013, Caleb Monroe disappeared without a trace. For 12 years, a small town hid a dark secret, until one night shattered it all. The screen pulses with a low, ominous hum, fading to the title, Lost in the Hollow, The Disappearance of Caleb Monroe. Cleveland, Tennessee, August 12, 2013. The air was thick with the scent of cut grass and barbecue smoke in Cleveland, Tennessee, a sleepy town nestled in the foothills of the Appalachians. It was the last day of summer break, and the Monroe family's cul-de-sac buzzed with kids playing tag and riding bikes. Caleb Monroe, a weary 6-year-old with freckles and a gap-toothed grin, pedaled his red Huffy bike in circles, his red Braves cap tilted back. His mother, Jenna Monroe, watched from the porch of their split-level home, sipping sweet tea and chatting with neighbors. "Caleb, stay in sight, okay?" she called, her voice carrying the soft drawl of the South. Caleb waved, his laughter ringing out, and sped toward the end of the street where the pavement met a gravel path leading to a wooded lot. The neighborhood was safer, so everyone thought. Cleveland was the kind of place where people left doors unlocked and kids roamed, until streetlights flickered on. But Jenna's eyes flicked to a beat-up Ford pickup parked across the street, belonging to Ray Dutton, a handyman who'd been doing odd jobs for the Monroes for years. Ray was a loner, mid-40s, with a scruffy beard and a habit of staring too long. He'd fixed their leaky sink, mowed their lawn, even brought Caleb a cheap plastic yo-yo once. Jenna didn't like him, but her husband, Greg, said she was paranoid. "He's harmless," Greg always said. "Just a guy down on his luck." That afternoon, Ray was there, leaning against his truck, sipping a Coors Light and watching the kids play. "Hey, Caleb, wanna see my new toolbox?" he called, his voice casual but sharp. Caleb, curious and trusting, pedaled over. Jenna turned to answer a neighbor's question about her pecan pie recipe, her eyes off Caleb for maybe 30 seconds. When she looked back, he was gone. The bike lay tipped over in the gravel, its front wheel still spinning. Panic swept the neighborhood like a storm. Jenna's screams brought Greg running from the garage, his hands still greasy from tinkering with his old Mustang. Neighbors scoured the woods, the creek, the empty lot. Ray joined the search, his face grim, muttering about how kids wander off. By dusk, Cleveland PD had cordoned off the street, their radios crackling with urgency. Flyers went up overnight. Missing, Caleb Monroe, 6 years old, red baseball cap, last seen on Oak Street. The story hit local news, then national. Boy vanishes from Tennessee neighborhood. Jenna and Greg pleaded on TV, their faces etched with desperation. The police chased leads, a sighting at a Chattanooga gas station, a tip about a kid in Knoxville, but they fizzled out. Ray was questioned early on. His truck's license plate matched a partial description from a neighbor, but he had an alibi. He'd been at a bar, he said, and a buddy backed him up. The case grew cold, but the Monroes never stopped searching. They put up billboards, drained their savings on private investigators, and tied red ribbons to every mailbox in town. Caleb's face was on every telephone pole, but he was already gone. The trailer, Cherokee National Forest, 2013 to 2025, 45 miles from Cleveland. Deep in the Cherokee National Forest, Ray owned a rusted-out trailer on a plot of land nobody visited. It was a junk-strewn patch off a dirt road, surrounded by pines and kudzu, the kind of place you'd miss unless you knew where to look. That's where Ray took Caleb that August evening, the boy unconscious in the truck's back seat, sedated with pills Ray had swiped from a job site. Ray wasn't a planner, just a man with dark impulses and a grudge against the world. He'd always envied the Monroes' picture-perfect life, Jenna's warm smile, Greg's steady job at the local mill. Taking Caleb was his way of claiming something for himself, a twisted act of control. He told himself he'd let the boy go when things calmed down, but the weeks turned into years, and the lie became his life. Caleb woke in the trailer's back room, a cramped space with plywood walls, a single barred window, and a mattress on the floor. The air smelled of motor oil and mildew. His cries went unanswered, swallowed by the forest. Ray fed him just enough and ravioli. Day-old bread and lied to keep him quiet. Your parents didn't want you, kid. I'm your family now. Ray kept Caleb locked in that room, a padlock on the door, only letting him out to do chores when he was sure no one was around. Caleb grew up in that trailer, his world reduced to a 10-by-10 cell. He was 10 when Ray started trusting him to clean the yard, but always with a rope tied to his waist, tethered to a stake. Caleb learned to read from old auto repair manuals, scratching math problems in the dirt with a stick. He marked time by the season's humid summers, bitter winters counting for 1,380 days by the time he turned 18. His memories of home faded, replaced by Ray's gruff voice and the constant threat of his belt. But Caleb never stopped dreaming of escape. He'd stare at the stars through the barred window, whispering his parents' names like a prayer. Ray grew sloppier over time, his drinking spiraling. He'd leave for days, hauling scrap metal to pawn shops, trusting Caleb wouldn't run because of the isolation and fear. But Caleb was watching, learning. He noticed Ray's keys left on the counter, the loose board in the floor where Ray hid cash. He memorized the sound of the truck's engine fading down the dirt road. Jenna and Greg, meanwhile, were shadows of themselves, their marriage cracked under the weight of guilt and grief. But they kept searching. Jenna joined online forums for missing kids, chasing every tip, while Greg drove the backroads of Tennessee, following whispers of a boy who looked like Caleb. They put up new flyers every year, Caleb's face aged up by software, a teenager now, but still their little boy. The town held vigils, but hope was a flicker nearly gone. The break, September 2025. By fall 2025, Caleb was 18, tall and lean, his freckles faded, his eyes sharp with a survivor's grit. He was stronger now, hardened by years of hauling firewood and enduring Ray's temper. He'd spent months loosening a screw in the window's bars, hiding his work behind a tattered curtain. Ray's drinking had hit a new low. He'd pass out most nights, the trailer reeking of whiskey. On September 17th, Ray stumbled in late, drunk and raging about a bad deal at the scrapyard. He threw a bottle at the wall, glass shattering, then collapsed on the couch. Caleb saw his chance. He grabbed the keys from the counter, his hands shaking, and slipped into the back room. The window's bars gave way with a quiet creak. He climbed out, the rope still around his waist, and cut it with a shard of glass, slicing his palm in the process. Blood dripped as he ran into the forest, the moon his only guide. Caleb sprinted through the pines, branches tearing at his clothes, his bare feet raw on the rocky ground. He didn't know where he was going, only that he had to keep moving. Hours later, he stumbled onto Highway 64, waving his arms at a passing delivery van. The driver, a grizzled man hauling produce, pulled over, shocked by the sight of a wild-eyed teenager in tattered jeans, blood streaking his hand. "Kid, you okay?" he asked, already dialing 911. By morning, Caleb was in a hospital in Chattanooga, his story spilling out to stunned detectives. His fingerprints confirmed it. Caleb Monroe, missing since 2013, was alive. The fallout: the police raided Ray's trailer at dawn. They found him passed out, empty bottles littering the floor. Evidence was everywhere: the locked room, the rope, Caleb's makeshift calendar scratched into the wall. Ray was arrested, his hungover protests drowned out by the slam of the squad car door. The media exploded. Missing Tennessee boy found after 12 years. Jenna and Greg rushed to the hospital, their reunion with Caleb a raw, tear-soaked collision of joy and pain. He was their son, but a stranger too, his childhood stolen. The trial was a media circus. Ray claimed he'd taken care of Caleb, his lies crumbling under the weight of the evidence, the trailer's squalor, Caleb's testimony, the rope burns on his wrists. Jenna sat in the courtroom, her eyes locked on Ray, her grief now a burning rage. Caleb testified via video, his voice steady but haunted, unable to face the man who'd stolen his life. Ray was sentenced to life without parole, his name a curse in Cleveland. Caleb struggled to adjust. He enrolled in a GED program, his identity protected by court order. Loud noises made him jump, and he woke from nightmares of locked doors. But he found solace in small things: his mom's homemade biscuits, his dad's old vinyl records. Jenna and Greg rebuilt their lives around him, their love a fragile anchor. The story ends on a quiet August evening, 2025. Caleb stands in the backyard. His Red Braves cap returned from Evidon's stilted back. Fireflies blink in the dusk, and for the first time in 12 years, he feels the weight of freedom. The camera lingers on his face, those sharp eyes holding both scars and hope before fading to black. Caleb Monroe survived 12 years of captivity. Today, he rebuilds his life with his family. Ray Dutton faces life in prison. The Monroes ask for privacy as they heal. The final shot shows a red ribbon tied to a mailbox, swaying in the Tennessee breeze, a symbol of hope for every lost child.